In a century-long past, a knight was summoned by his king, who handed him a message with the instruction, "Ride now, you must get this message to the next kingdom, and you must leave right away." For in those days, each town and village, regardless of size...
Thank you for choosing this Down and Back commentary track. Host Bacone seems to be leading today's episode with a yarn of yet unknown connection to today's theme.
Worn thin and ranks increasingly hard to fortify. "Alas, sire," said the knight, "there are no horses at the castle. All of our riders are out on patrol." Rubbing his whiskered chin, the king pondered.
We note that our host has begun what seems to be...
could render his kingdom vulnerable to a month...
I think it is...
Eureka! You will put a saddle on my old English sheepdog, whose speed...
Yes! It's a shaggy dog story.
Finest mare. The shaggy dog? That's the one. Now, make haste. Minutes later, the knight departed the castle atop the big, shaggy dog. Through the hilly woods, the two...
The genre of the shaggy dog story dates back to the 1940s. It's typically a long serpentine story rife with warrantless detail brought to a jarring halt by a concluding pun or wordplay.
Highway persons. Therein, relentless embers of war sought to ever nestle amidst the dry tinder of suspicion and hate. Then, the rains began. Sheets of water fell helpless earthward, their contorted descent momentarily frozen by flashes of lightning, completing its earthward journey.
There's that classic warrantless detail.
Soaking both to the skin and washing out the trails. It was soon clear that neither could continue. The spare trail now obliterated, leaves and limbs whipped our lonely heroes about the head and neck. Thwap, thwip, thwip, thwap.
More warrantless detail.
Thor's hammer pounded the storm-sodden glen, which drew tight around them like a snare.
And still more. But it can't be long now. Well, actually it can.
For generations in story, painting, and song. It was then the pair spotted a glimmer of light from a nearby monastery, distorted by the relentless fire.
Oh, at last. We seem to be narrowing in on a punchline. Let's listen.
As though magnetically to the keenly needed shelter. The ancient wooden door creaked slowly open, revealing an apple-faced man of God. "Good friar," said the knight, "we're on an urgent mission, but have need of shelter in this storm. Will you let us in?" The friar looked upon the knight and the English shepherd, both utterly exhausted.
Here it comes.
And shivering, and said, "My son, do you think I'd leave a knight out on a dog like this?" And there it is, supposed by some to be the original shaggy dog story. The phrase itself...
Nothing left for host Bacone to do but tie the story to the episode's main theme and throw to opening titles.
Origin some 80 years ago. I'm Bud Bacone. Stick around as we explore the stories behind some of the countless everyday dog-themed expressions and the breeds that helped inspire them. From shaggy dogs...
Okay, now he's just rambling.
...dogs, to hot dogging, to wag the dog, to hair of the dog. It's true.
Now he's drinking beer? Oh my. Go to titles.
I suppose we should go to titles.
What is a dog? How much is a dog worth?
The sport of dogs is one of the cleanest and best regulated of all the organized sports.
I am 50% setter, Irish setter.
Today, there is no question of the dog's place in society.
Isn't that so, Lassie?
Down and Back. Stories from the AKC archives.
This is the show for you.
With Bud Bacone.
This pup is more than a pal.
The English countryside, the bracing air, the smell of wildflowers, a 14-piece orchestra playing gently, and an old English sheepdog hard at work in the pasture. The original shaggy dog, almost certainly the old English sheepdog, isn't especially old as breeds go, isn't entirely English in its breed composition, and isn't technically a sheepdog. Dating back some 3 centuries, its possible breed components comprise Scottish, European, and Russian ancestry. Ever playful, this dog is trainable, yes, but bores easily when trained with too much monotony and repetition. In other words, you can train him, just don't expect him to punch a clock.
Morning, Ralph. Morning, Sam.
And it wasted no time achieving iconic status through children's literature, Disney films, and inspiring Paul McCartney to write the song Martha, My Dear, which we'll be playing just as soon as we've crowdfunded a royalty payment. Meanwhile, in another part of the countryside, there, through those woods, a pack of hounds doing some scent training. Over the years, those on the business end of that scent are said to be hounded or relentlessly pursued. Today, everywhere you go, dogs are hard at work, acting as guides. They help humans with hearing, mobility assistance, and therapy. And beyond that wall, detection dogs are sniffing for drugs, weapons, and other contraband. Every day, thousands of canines give credence to the expression, working like a dog. So, someone explain this to me.
Hey, Kozlowski, you're dogging it!
Yeah, you're dogging it.
Somehow it came to be that working like a dog and dogging it mean exactly the opposite of one another. The first usage of dogging it isn't clear, though it seems to date back to the early 20th century. In Burt Dunn's 1958 Dictionary of Baseball, he suggests that the phrase is a literal and graphic reference to an unambitious shortstop who dogs it by raising one leg in the manner of a dog to avoid getting hit by a sharply hit grounder. In time, the phrase gravitated beyond the ballpark to most any workplace.
He's dogging it.
Quit dogging it!
Hey, fellas, don't the working dogs of the world deserve better than that phrase? After all, every day hundreds of thousands of canines work like dogs. They guard and comfort and herd. They pull and fetch and point and hunt, retrieve and rescue, and they'll do it all with dogged determination until they're dog-tired. They bond to their humans and give so much, yet ask so little in return. Do you think the phrase dogging it is really fair?
Yeah, he's right.
He's right. Hey, let's go home and rethink our sorry lives.
Nothing more to see here. Meanwhile, remember those hounds we heard a few minutes ago? If I had their nose, I could tell you without looking, they're coonhounds, specifically black and tan coonhounds, a true American original. These are big, friendly, athletic, tenacious hunters who prefer to work at night when raccoons are out. Nose to the ground, they holler when they're onto a scent, and when they finally treed their quarry, they sit at its base until their human can arrive. Trouble is, it's dark at night. There's a lot of trees in the woods, and the black and tan coonhound's gift is for scenting, not sighting. Hence, sometimes the hounds will bark up the wrong tree, To the relief of thankful raccoons everywhere, the expression lives on as a means of saying someone's effort is being misdirected. You getting that? It's the distinct scent of an AKC breed biography. Before there were coonhounds, there were raccoons, an unsung hero of American history. These plump, nocturnal mammals were a steady source of meat, fur, and fat for settlers who tamed the wild continent. The frontiersmen who lit out for the western and southern territories to seek their fortunes faced a challenge. There was no dog breed fully equipped for raccoon hunting. Foxhounds, many imported from the landed gentry of England, were hunters more suited to the rolling green estates of Britain than the rugged American landscape. A whole new hound was needed. With typical Yankee ingenuity, it's believed the frontiersmen crossed bloodhounds and foxhounds and possibly other breeds here and there. Among the early coonhound enthusiasts was the legendary Daniel Boone. Black and tans have an amazingly sensitive nose, long velvety ears, and a sweet disposition. The coal-black coat features rich tan accents, including the distinctive pumpkin seeds above keenly expressive eyes. These are big, strong hounds. A good-sized male can cover ground with effortless, eager strides. Though selectively bred on the basis of color and for proficiency in hunting possum and raccoon, the black and tan coonhound is equally proficient at hunting bigger game, including deer, mountain lions, and bears. Nowadays, the coonhound's formidable skills are on display at AKC field trials where no prey is harmed, also to the relief of thankful raccoons everywhere. She can keep pace with the most active family, but can also hog the sofa for hours on end. Hounds will be hounds. A passing squirrel can arouse her prey drive in no time flat, so a strong leash and a sturdy fence are must-haves. Black and tan coonhounds might be too much hound for the lifestyle of every owner. Oh, we've got more. But let's give a quick nod to dog-related idioms that have fallen from everyday use. Let's flee from the woods and into the archives. Because the human-canine partnership is pretty much as old as humans and canines, dog-related idioms are universally understood, as much so today as they were in the days of Aesop, the fable guy, Greek with the simple name that no one can spell. From his writings, we get the now antiquated expression, dog in a manger. Here's the story. Josh, cue the fable music. A dog asleep in a manger filled with hay was awakened by the cattle which came in tired and hungry from working in the field. But the dog would not let them get near the manger and snarled and snapped as if it were filled with the best of meat and bones, all for himself. The cattle looked at the dog in disgust. "How selfish he is," said one. "He cannot eat the hay, and yet he will not let us eat it who are so hungry for it." Now the farmer came in. When he saw how the dog was acting, he seized a stick and drove him out of the stable with many a blow for his selfish behavior. Oh, look, there's a moral to this story. Do not grudge others what you cannot enjoy yourself. Also from the periphery of popular usage, the double dog dare, an expression held aloft in part by the immortal pen and narrative of Gene Shepard and filmmaker Bob Clark. Roll it, Josh.
You're full of it. Oh, yeah? Yeah, like double dog dare ya.
Now it was serious. A double dog dare. What else was left but a triple dare you? And finally, the coup de grace of all dares, the sinister triple dog dare.
I triple dog dare ya.
Schwartz created a slight breach of etiquette by skipping the triple dare and going right for the throat.
All right.
Writing in Mental Floss, Ellen Gutowski reports that the ritual of the double dog dare predates Ralphie's fictional Warren G. Harding Elementary School. In the 1896 book The Child and Childhood in Folk Thought, author Alexander Francis Chamberlain wrote of the scale of challenge employed by children in Kentucky. I dare you. I dog dare you. I double dog dare you. I dare you. I black dog dare you. I double black dog dare you. Could have something to do with the persistent strength of doggedness. It might carry the heft of dog as a long-standing substitute for God and damn, or both, which is where we get doggone. Alas, we can only speculate. The deliberations of pre-adolescent kids in America's schoolyards are woefully bereft of recording secretaries and meeting minutes. A curious addition is the black dog, a euphemism dating back millennia, and popularized by Winston Churchill. Horace wrote of the black dog and its pups as an unlucky omen, a black dog often symbolizing the devil. If you charge central casting with finding the right dog for that usage, you might point to generations of hounds and mastiffs, wonderful dogs all, but whose formidable appearance by design gives predators pause. You'll find them filed under G for, gee, I'm glad they're on our side. In the 18th century, black dog was an English nickname for a counterfeit shilling. In 1793, it was the poet Samuel Johnson who used it as a metaphor for clinical depression or melancholia in the parlance of the time.
When I rise, my breakfast is solitary. The black dog waits to share it. From breakfast to dinner, he continues barking. What shall exclude the black dog from a habitation like this?
A century and a half later, Winston Churchill would revitalize the phrase, warning visitors of a surly mood, saying, I have got the black dog on my back today. And there's the thing about dog expressions. Many times, in many places, canines were disparaged, and they've got the negative idioms to prove it. Long before many dogs lived indoors, a person might, figuratively speaking, become sick as a dog, though no one's quite sure what that means. Or be a dirty dog, living a dog's life, baring their teeth in aggression, or even bite the hand that feeds them. Something in acute decline has gone to the dogs, though every dog has his day, and someone bent entirely to the will of another becomes their lapdog. Politicians who want to say something without saying it might dog whistle to their followers, employing words and phrases meant to resonate with only a select group of those who hear them. In some times and places, simply calling someone a dog is the top dog among insults. And for some reason, a dog's life isn't a good thing. Just ask this guy.
Afternoon, everybody.
Hey, what's happening, Norm?
Well, it's a dog-eat-dog world, Sammy, and I'm wearing milk-bone underwear.
I hope that didn't sound like a dog's breakfast. We can't verify that every dog has its day, but there are the dog days of summer, typically the hottest, draggiest, sleepiest days when the heat leaves everyone wanting to dog it. It's a phrase brought to you by the people of ancient Rome, where these were the caniculares dies. While many of us are sleeping, hard at work in the night sky, in constellation form, is Orion, the hunter. With him are his two hunting companions, Canis Major and Canis Minor. Distinguishing the former is Sirius, or by her official name, Alpha Canis Majoris. Actually a binary star, if you must know, with a magnitude of negative 1.46, one of the brightest objects in the night sky. For our purpose, it also has the distinction of appearing to rise close to the sun, from about July 3rd to August 11th, saith the Almanac. In ancient times, it was regarded as a classic double whammy, the hot sun and the dog star combining their light to lay a 5-week-long thermal whooping on all of Rome. These are the dog days of summer. In this, Sirius gets a bum rap. A star more than 8 light years away doesn't embellish the heat of our sun. More importantly, though, what breed of canine is Orion's companion, Canis Major? Centuries of artists have suggested the greyhound. For thousands of years, this gentle, noble, sweet-tempered sprinter has been a favorite of pharaohs, emperors, and czars, and the template from which other coursing hounds have been struck. Oh, let's see. There's Orion's belt and sword. Off to the left is Sirius. There's Canis Major, and yep, case closed. That's a greyhound. But enough of this hemisphere. In the grand scheme of things, dogs were a fido-come-lately in Australian culture. Today's dingoes are thought to descend from dogs brought from Asian seafarers as long as 5,000 years ago. By then, Australia's Aboriginal peoples had roamed the outback for more than 50,000 years. Yet, as in so many other places, and so many other times, humans and canines wasted little time forging a bond. The dogs became culturally important and also practical. As welcome members of a camp, the sleeping canines became a source of warmth on chilly winter nights. Tradition has it that they were even a form of measure. A one-dog night might describe an evening with a slight chill, where a cooler climb might prompt a two-dog night. So yes, Virginia, a particularly cold evening is a three-dog night, inspiring the name of the American rock band. Oh, who needs to hear the music? Let's all take a moment to imagine one of the band's many hits in our minds, shall we? Whoa, way better than paying royalties. What about the old chestnut, hair of the dog that bit you? The idea of curing a hangover by consuming more alcohol. First of all, much as I hate to poop a party, science has spoken, doesn't work, don't even hope. Second, what the f***? Hair of a dog? I know what you're thinking. Simila similibus curantur. Let like be cured by like, in the spirit of medical cures formed using some property of the malady it's treating. In the days of yore, and trust me, you can have them, when dogs were less revered than many of those down under, a novel theory was formed around the treatment of a wound caused by a dog's bite. It was believed that healing was hastened by procuring a hair from the canine in question, burning that hair, placing it in the wound, and wrapping it. As the keen-minded among you will have guessed, it's a dopey, stupid idea, though the medical problems this treatment might cause could take your mind off your hangover. While we're here in the days of yore, it's the mid-1600s when people first used the expression raining cats and dogs, and the story isn't pretty. In many cultures, sanitation as we know it hadn't been invented yet, but there were gutters, and when heavy rains came down, the gutters would fill, bringing all manner of garbage floating to the surface, including dead animals. That presumably inspired some wiseacre to observe, it's raining cats and dogs. There's no mystery as to why the archives are so filled with dog-related idioms and expressions. Dogs are a part of human existence in every culture and everywhere on Earth. It's natural that this universal relationship lends itself to metaphors and rhetorical devices. We bring others to heel. A sales team might enact a dog and pony show, and we might leave with our tail between our legs, or find ourselves in the doghouse, a place near and dear to my heart. When humans express themselves, they have an option to be literal and unimaginative in many contexts. That is as it should be. Yet, as long as people have communicated, we found ways to express ourselves creatively through metaphors, idioms, and imagery, so many of them canine-centric. Why do we use these rhetorical tools? Well, why not? Or, to answer a question with a question, why keep a dog and bark yourself?
Down and Back, stories from the AKC archives. Visit akc.org to learn everything you could ever want to know about responsible dog ownership. Follow AKC on Instagram, TikTok, and Facebook at American Kennel Club. On X, at AKC Dog Lovers. And tell us what you thought of the show. If you're new to the show, subscribe with your favorite podcast provider to catch up on all of our past episodes. Founded in 1884, the not-for-profit AKC is the recognized and trusted expert in breed, health, and training information for all dogs. We actively advocate for responsible dog ownership and are dedicated to advancing dog sports. We actively advocate for responsible dog ownership and are dedicated to advancing dog sports. Excuse me. Research for Down and Back is provided by the AKC Library and Archives, the only national repository dedicated to the sport and enjoyment of the purebred dog. Learn more about the collections at akc.org/library.